I want to get this over with pretty quick, so yeah, I'm just really fucking lazy. So I don't like when people are using FPS as their main measurement and they talk about just about how much better is the FPS because this only tells you one end of the story. What's like what's maybe more important is milliseconds per frame. How much less time does your GPU take to render a frame? I also don't know if you can hear the fan or not because it's like 15 degrees outside. I don't like hot weather. So I also have like a little bit, maybe I went a bit overboard because I also started to list engines, which engines are being used. Uh, so we see that, and a lot of the times 4060 is indeed better, except like Counter-Strike 2, which this game is so simple to those graphics cards that you're essentially getting bandwidth limited. At least, like, I'm pretty sure one end of the stick is you're bandwidth limited, and the other end of the stick you might have like in big quotation marks occupancy issues because your GPU simply does not have enough resources to dispatch everything. Because like it like takes like no time, but you still have to wait for it. I don't fucking know. I won't pretend I know everything. So, so it's in green because it's a really weird one. It's in 1440p. For some reason, it's 5 milliseconds faster. Uh, it might be some sort of like weird outlier. It might be bandwidth, but then again, why is a modern game limited by bandwidth? I like, okay, so every game that has really simple shaders will be limited by texture fetches, but like I don't think those 5 milliseconds are texture fetches because I can show you because like in 5 milliseconds you can transfer a whole fucking gigabyte in 5 milliseconds. Like okay, that's like best case scenario. You like ignore every possible condition so you can have like video card. It just like operates on like I don't know, not knowing any physics. Like it's almost like a gigabyte. It's of a gigabyte of a difference in those 5 milliseconds. And those numbers are from the video. I don't know if you will be able to see it. Yeah, it's here. 272,448, 272,448. So, it's fucking insane. So, what do we have then? It's like I also color coded the upscalers because, yeah, if you look really closely to everything that's using an upscaler, you will notice that their frame time difference doesn't seem to make much sense, at least to me, because here we were 5 milliseconds faster, but here we only 174 milliseconds faster, which might mean that you might be slightly bandwidth limited because of like AI models, they need to churn through a bit of data, or you like the numbers are almost the same. This is what like throws me off. Like here, okay, Black Myth Wukong like might benefit from a beefier GPU, as it was seen in some other tests, I'm pretty sure. But it's like it's weird that those are the numbers that you get. So again, I said with CS2, it's fairly simple game. So we have like Remnant 2, you see like 2 milliseconds, okay, 1440p, 4 milliseconds, again, like Some contributor of that is of course bandwidth, because you have more pixels, scenes are less dense, your derivatives will be smaller, which means higher mid-maps, which means more memory. But we will ignore all that. So it's still like this GPU still got like tangible improvements, especially if you consider some titles where it's like, yeah, raster performance, probably, but it's still, because you see, you might look at an FPS and be like, yeah, says like that's not much, or like that's 30 more FPS, but it's less than a millisecond difference. And here it's like 12 FPS, it's 2 milliseconds difference. And here it's like 8 FPS, but that's also 2 milliseconds difference, and even larger one at that. Here it's like 14 FPS, that's 4 milliseconds. Again, this GPU is really good, but I think it might be stumbling into territory of game engines not being fast enough to accommodate for the raw performance of those cards. Because uh, if you launch some, like, in big quotation marks, shitty Unity game, uh, it will submit commands serially, one after another, like we still live in 2010s, or like late 2000s or something like that, where like it was kind of acceptable for an engine to do that, because video cards weren't fast enough, like weren't all that fast, and they weren't like generally programmable. You couldn't do a lot of things you can do now. So like now, submitting commands serially is unacceptable because GPUs don't get that much, they don't improve that much in sheer like raw performance. They get more cores, they could do more work serially, but when you submit little batches of work, you might get caught up in like all of the overhead that's like associated with sending commands to the GPU, and like scheduling and dispatching them and running all the like the full pipeline, and well, putting things to the texture or like some internal queues. I don't know how GPUs work. It's a little bit of like secret information that they keep away. So like also here we see like this Oblivion, which has nanite. Nanite is whole other can of worms. I won't go into details on that. I'm not biggest fan of some of the technical decisions, but Fortnite. So it's like 2 milliseconds. Just like this one is 4 milliseconds, but this one is big as this doesn't make any sense. Again, here we have 1 millisecond difference. That's like I kinda expect that, but again, it's also an in-house, like probably an in-house engine of Naughty Dog, because they are under control of Sony Computer Entertainment, and they have history of using like in-house engines, and theirs might be a little bit rough around the edges, because their primary target is proprietary PlayStation graphics API, which is not the same as D3D12, and it's not the same as Vulkan. You have to keep that in mind. So yes, Toka Nanite, Black Myth Wukong, it's a really wonky game to begin with. So this 3 millisecond difference, like it also has upscalers, which I don't like, because the thing with upscalers is that it's NVIDIA who's choosing the model for you, and they might be using quantized model if it's DLSS 4 on 5060, which will obviously get bandwidth improvements in those differences. So so everything that has an upscaler and compares 40 series or 30 series with 50 series, especially if that game has DLSS 4 enabled, it shouldn't, it's not an apples to apples comparison in any way, shape, or form. This one is Space Marine. I don't know which engines they're using. I didn't look it up. I just want to get this rant over with. because the new Rant episode has been long overdue at this point. So BC, it's really large, but like why? I don't think he was ever hard pressed. No, that's Remnant. Yeah, yes, it's Remnant. Yes, that's Space Marine too. He's not even within the 80% of 8 gigabytes. I'm pretty. At least I'm pretty sure he isn't. Check. No, I did it. I did it wrong. No, no, he's within 80% of 8 gigabytes. But it's like better. It's better. It's not VRAM issues. Also, why 80%? Because that's like it's for some weird reasons it's a magical number you recommend to not go over with. Like all the time I've seen stuff, it recommends not to go over 80% of the total of it, of like total VRAM. So if you go overboard with like available VRAMs that's not used by you, you can get notifications about that, and you can do like different actions, unload old assets and things like that. So then we move to like 4060, which is also fairly weird because if you look here, those numbers are very interesting because they're using almost the same engine, yet Doom TDA got the special NVIDIA treatment for the 5060. Probably because they advertise the game every fucking where. And because it's Doom, it probably gets insane marketing money because Bethesda knows that it can sell. Because if you look at like most of the negatives, they are in like double digit zone, which in like video card time is a whole lot. Like like you can move a gigabyte. Like you can move like 2 gigabytes, like almost three. Not almost three, you can like 2.5 in 5.6 milliseconds. You can move like around 8 in 20 milliseconds. That's like so much wasted bandwidth time, so to speak, but that's also so many wasted clocks. And if I recall correctly, rasterizer can operate on something like that 3 or 4 primitives per clock. I'm not sure. It's not a number you usually keep in mind because your shaders are not bottlenecked by the rasterizer stage. It's fixed hardware, you can control it. So also, yeah, everything in red is where the 5060 falls off. It's like 4 milliseconds, pretty weird. 1 millisecond might be some transient load on the system, yada yada yada. But like those double digit numbers are not okay at all. I don't know how that happens. This is a rasterized game. But, I'm pretty sure he was. This is Rift Apart, right? And we are comparing this 460 RT. We get like again like this required Cyberpunk. Yeah, the John Stalker 2. No, it starts. Okay, it might have been towards the end of the video, but it's. I'm pretty sure he was also within those limits, but it would be pretty weird to waste 22 milliseconds on that. It's been already 40 minutes. It already has been 40 minutes, so we move into this one. Uh, less than 1 millisecond difference, less than 1 millisecond difference. Like Marvel Rivals, probably bottlenecked by something else. Miles Morales, bad driver. Wait, what? Why did it not propagate? Okay. I don't know why I put it in red. Probably it was left out. So like less than a millisecond difference, even so it's like 9 FPS. It's 5 FPS, but it's almost 2 millisecond difference. And again, it's upscalers. We have seen that around 1 something millisecond is to be expected when we are running upscalers. So we will ignore that. Here it's 5 millisecond difference because again you're running on a 30 series GPU. This is probably DLSS 4 enabled. I mean, it's most certainly is. It's Cyberpunk. And Black meets Wukong. You have like 12 millisecond difference. Again, you're probably like shader execution time, as well as the upscaler work time. So you also see like this. Okay, time to talk about that one, because if you take just the plain average of like all the milliseconds per frame and compare them, they don't match the geometric mean almost always. If we go here, geometric, like average says it's worse than geometric. Average says it's better than geometric. 3060, it's like average says it's better than geometric mean. Average says it's better than geometric mean. Average says it's better than geometric mean. And average of msPF. It's all average of milliseconds per frame. I don't know. I didn't go to my math statistics class that much. Probably a mistake. So again, here we see that geometric mean says it's better than the average. Average says it's worse than geometric mean. Average says it's worse than geometric mean. Meanwhile, we had times where it said it's better than geometric mean. So, and this is my card. I could have run some of the tests myself, but I'm pretty lazy. You see, at like almost 3 millisecond different. Very nice. Upscaler and like all the nanite stuff. I don't know if it has VSMs, virtual shadow maps. I don't know if it has lumen. Yeah, I talked about that one already. So we see that it's 5 millisecond difference, but also when I was playing Half-Life 2 RTX and I enabled the DLSS 4 where like the transformer model, it ran like dog shit. It looked better, but it was way worse performance, so it might also be that. Take it with a grain of salt. This is like VRAM limitations, might be a bad driver. VRAM limitations might be a bad driver. CS2, we see almost double. We see like around double what we have seen before. Okay, I think I skimmed through 3060 Ti, it doesn't matter. Like double of what we have seen, so it's a tangible improvement over the generations. Black Ops 6 is like 342. Yes, it's like 2 generations apart. Marvel Rivals 321. Double, like such generational leap. As we can see, if we multiply that number by 2, we will like get in the vicinity of that. I don't think Vex provided Marvel, right? Okay, he did provide it for this one, but I didn't compare it this way. We have like 15 milliseconds. Wait, no, it's the same generation. It doesn't fucking matter. We see like 15 millisecond, 1587, 1587. TI versus non-TI. So, generational improvements. And like Kingdom Come Deliverance too. 4 millisecond difference, and for the same configuration we had 2 millisecond difference, so you know, almost times 2. tangible generational improvement. So it's like 3060 Ti, it's like maybe bad driver, less than a millisecond, like 3 milliseconds wasted somehow. It's like you should be looking at this. It's like 3 milliseconds wasted on something. I know. And here it's like 12 milliseconds. That's a lot of milliseconds. Because it's like, well, yeah, it's like 16 FPS, but like no, it's like 14 FPS better. But it's 12 milliseconds. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of time. As long as this one, you should be asking yourselves, there is something wrong going on. It shouldn't be like that. So, yes, and when we go, yes, I did a little bandwidth sheet with like how much time, like how much time we would move, we would be able to fully move the amount of memory required for 1K BC7 square, 2K BC7 square, 4K BC7 square, 8K BC7 square, 16 BC7 square, 1080p 24-bit picture, and 1440p 24-bit picture. And as we can see, the more we go down the line, the more extreme the differences. And as you can see, the formula is in like here. Yeah. In this one, why am I dividing by just the resolution? Because it takes 16 pixels and it encodes them into like 128 bits. It's like yeah, it encodes 16 pixels into 128 bits, which is essentially 1 pixel per byte. It has like quadrillion different modes, and that's why it's able to have textures that still look good. You can see it can move a lot of textures in just 5.6 milliseconds. Like it can be a lot of frame buffers, so there is more than VRAM issues when you're talking about performance, because you can look at like 4060 and say, well, yeah, it's like, well, yeah, it's a 1.39 difference. It's like 1.73, it's like 1.2, but if you look what memory can be moved in 1.2 milliseconds, you see it's like 200 megabyte difference. That's quite a bit. And this is also ignoring the fact that GPU will not read the whole texture. It needs to like read certain parts, and like there are different mip maps, and they take slightly less time, and like they're smaller. This is just for like this size texture is like FB means frame buffer, and frame buffers are usually 24-bit BGRA textures. So as a bonus round, I have also compared like 3060 with 4060 from those tests. As we can see, as one can see, we see like 1.79 improvement. But if you go to here and same one, it's like 1.74. It's the same improvement as was seen last generation, which is alright. As Vex said, this card is alright. It's just like the VRAM might not be in the long run, but also like overblowing every single issue on VRAM is also what got me going. And I didn't even like exactly finish the video. I saw the community post before I finished watching it. So, and he talks about how he wants to have that's a weird subtrend. Okay, that he wants to have channel where he will have more data. It's almost as the universe knew I'm gonna get fucking rivaled up by this shit. So you can see it's like 0.70, because if you go here, it's also 0.76. It's like 30. It's like 3060 is 1.46. So it's almost as if you take a sum of the numbers that like provided 0.7 and 0.76, you'll get 146. It's almost as if improvements are sometimes linear if you think in actual time and not how many times a second something can happen, but rather how much time something takes. Yes, it's almost as if we get like close to same amount of improvement each generation. And it's sometimes it's the fucking game engines that can't function correctly due to like many layered issues. Maybe it's a lazy developer. Maybe it's like lazy developers, but then again, why did they get hired? Maybe it's the management doesn't give developers enough time. Maybe it's poor documentation, because Unreal suffered from this when like Unreal 5 and Nana, especially when like Nanite was a new thing. It like suffered from very poor documentation. It might still be a thing. I don't use Unreal. I use Unity from time to time, and I hate how it does things. I am CPU bound in a simple scene where I have no scripts running. Like, none of my scripts are running, and I'm CPU bound. It takes 5 milliseconds to render around 1.4 million triangles. I should be able to push 14 million triangles. I know I have 8x MSAA enabled in that scene. Even if I lower the resolution to 1080p, my frame time stays about the same. It doesn't improve tangibly. I'm still within the same FPS counters. I'm still within like about the same milliseconds. It might be like transient load or the DVM compositing that affects you, because if you don't have game take up your whole screen, DVM will composite the game's frame buffer onto the screen, which takes a little bit of time in the presentation and can introduce a little bit of like weird stuff and like boundness. You should also take into account like the game engines. That's why I initially had them on the first one, where you see it's like Unreal Engine, where we can see it's an in-house and it gets tangible improvement. In-house engine, tangible improvement. uh I don't know what engine is this. I don't know what engine is this. But it's like noticeable improvements. Black Myth Wukong, expensive shaders. Last of Us Part 1, custom engine, but not that big of an improvement. Might be different bottlenecks, might be memory, might be bandwidth. CS2, bandwidth, but like 100%. I'm pretty sure, 100% sure. That upscalers, it's whole different story. It's like generational improvement, different models, different workloads. Like 50s, like Blackwell architecture has hardware acceleration for 8-bit floating point numbers, so you have less data to move around, which gets you an improvement, because GPUs don't improve, like they still improve computationally, but uh, at some point you're gonna hit the roadblock, and like the only thing how we can keep improving is reducing the bandwidth. It already happened once when when people stopped doing deferred shading, when GPUs started to be generally programmable with like DX10 or DX11. With DX12 we have a lot more stuff. We have like shader model 6 and like its different revisions, which are pretty fucking cool. So I think that's pretty much Rant over. So you can see it's like 1 milliseconds difference. And it's like 1 millisecond difference. And like what, it's like 2 millisecond difference, because this GPU is more powerful and it has like slightly better memory. Don't undermine the effort. Like, as much as everyone wants to hate NVIDIA, as much as their pricing is shit, they're not 100% the bad guy in all of this. It might also be the same shit that happened with Zen 5 CPUs. Zen 5 CPUs got like AVX 512 finally became 2 times faster like it should have been, because before it was emulated using two AVX 256 micro operations. And so AMD had to cherry pick benchmarks because there was no software that could take advantage of that. Even though they had an L1, they had bigger L1 because instead of 8-way, it became 12-way. And if you multiply 4K by 12, you get like, you get this number. You get 48. And if you multiply it by 8, you get your usual 32 kilobit, like 32 kilobytes of L1 cache. It's just like rant over. I might publish this Excel sheet. I might not. Vex is a cool guy. You should subscribe. It's not to bash on him, but I'm just pretty tired of like it's almost the same narrative as this TAA. TAA is not the sole problem of game engine, of like games we have today. This proves it. We do get improvements. It's just we might not be able to take advantage of all the technology that we get because no software utilizes it. It's the same with computers. We are both 23 years old. I don't know when Vex started using computers. I started using computers from like the day I got home from like the nursing house. Like I don't know how to translate it. So uh, and I remember like how slow some things were. I remember I've seen things get faster. I I've seen things get faster only to grind to a screeching halt when I tried to do something which was almost instantaneous back in the day. It might be nostalgia corrupting my memory, but still, dude. Also, yes, about the. Why did I have like a different window open? Why is this? Why did I the name Space Marine 2 Великий Супермарин because of this? I forgot I don't have the audio. It doesn't fucking matter. I should really go to sleep. It's like it's 2 a.m. It's 1 a.m. Okay, it's close to 2.